Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Horsemen podcast, episode 89. Finally back after a few month hiatus. No interview this time. We are doing the traditional end of the year episode where we talk about the year in question and metal and then give out our individual top 10 albums of the year. Of course, I'm here. Levi, yours truly, is here to curate as always. Ricky unfortunately couldn't make it tonight, but joining me for the first time in a couple of years on the show is Boss Antelope 86, and
Hi.
and for the first time being a co-host of the show, please welcome Hunter, aka just another heavy metal maniac.
Hello.
This is our second time doing this.
I was just about
Yeah.
to say that, but
Good job, Levi.
hey, it's not my fault. It's OBS's fault for not picking my mic up.
Yeah, sure,
That's fair.
pal.
But
True.
regardless, so yeah, so 2025 for metal was a bittersweet year. Sweet in the sense that we had a lot of amazing albums. Of course, bitter because, well, we might as well get the bad side of stuff out of the way, and that's all the losses we had in metal. The biggest ones being Ozzy, Brent Hines, Thomas Lindbergh, and Ace Frehley, and even John Sykes. But plenty of other underground losses we had, like I forget his name, from Bethlehem and
Jurgen.
Sacramentum, Jurgen, and
Lisa.
from Sacramentum, and a whole list of others. Uh, Jill from Funerus, who
Funeral.
was John McEntee's ex-wife.
Paul Mario Day, original Iron Maiden vocalist.
Yep. So yeah, a lot of big
Les
hits.
Binks. Les Binks, formerly of Judas Priest.
Yeah, a lot of big hits this year, which I swear it was like this year just felt like a fever dream with a lot of that happening.
Yeah.
And of course,
It, it,
the day Ozzy passed was when I went and saw Pantera and Amon Amarth, and Zach Wild put on the performance of a lifetime that night, and also with that Ozzy tribute they did when they were playing Planet Caravan. So, but
I mean, I just felt like we just kept getting hit, like, with so much, like, random and just confusing shit like every single day. I felt like it's like, dude, we cannot take a break like as a community because either it's passings or people being pieces of shit or so on and so forth. Like, probably a bad example was Ian Watkins got stabbed, and the less
Yeah.
we say about him the better. But
mhm.
it's just like, what in the hell is happening, dude? It's just like
Yeah. I mean,
nothing but chaos, essentially.
especially for me, I felt like in August and September. I said this like when we recorded this earlier, but August and September was particularly bad because for deaths, it was just like one after another, like continuously. Because like August, that was the month we lost Brent Hines and Jurgen and Nisa and Gil Funeris. And also, the guitarist of Kick-Axe also passed away earlier that month. Then September comes along, and we lose Tampa and Baroness's former drummer and
Hmm.
Atomic Steve of Sodom and Living Death. Like
Yep.
that
Yeah.
whole again, it's just one after another. It's like, can you people just stop dying? Like it is too much. It was really too much.
And then, of course, outside of losing musicians in terms of bad stuff that happened in metal, was there were quite a few stinkers this year. The two biggest stinkers of all being Sleep Token and Dark Angel,
Yep. And
and
Yeah.
President.
President's EP, which I didn't even bother listening to, and I hope to
It,
God
it
I'd never listen to that band at all.
it's literally the worst band of all time made worse. That's an
Yeah,
accomplishment, honestly. Gold star for shit.
yeah. And then, of course, the Dark Angel album just being a bland groove metal album, essentially, with shit production, shit artwork, shit vocals.
Should not have been called the Dark Angel album. It should have been called Shit from Shitville, USA.
I mean, it's legit one of the blandest albums I've ever heard. Like, it was so unbelievably flat. Like, you have Gene Hoglan on drums, and you made him sound terrible.
It's
How
like
the hell do you do that?
That album is like it's like a plain tortilla, but you dropped it in gravel, so it's like it's plain and bland, but it's also full of rocks, and it hurts your teeth a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, good
And
lord.
and man, you would not believe the comments I got on my review. Most of it was on my side. There were quite a few who were like, "This is their best album ever. What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "What is your definition
Imagine,
of fantastic?"
imagine
Have you not heard
unironically,
Darkness Descends?
imagine unironically believing that Extinction Level Event is better than Darkness Descents or anything Dark Angel has done
Yeah.
prior to that.
hmm But
It was probably rage bait, probably just to get a reaction.
I don't know. Some people are just like legitimately blind fanboys like that, though. Like they'll just like if it has Dark Angel's name on it, they'll love it. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah,
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 It could
that's
be a
true,
fucking R&B
unfortunately.
album, and they'd still claim and they'd still love it.
yeah.
No shit.
But then getting away from the bad side of things, we were talking earlier about how this year was fantastic in terms of the music we got. While we didn't have very many like gigantic band releases, apart from quite a few, there were quite a few this year, but not compared to like last year or even the year before. But in terms of consistent quality, I thought this year was better because of the simple fact I had such a tough time with the list I put together because I don't think I've given out more 4.5s or 5-star ratings for anything ever than this year because there was just so many killer offerings, both mainstream and underground, mostly underground, that really caught my eye. And that's why we're here tonight to talk about our individual top 10 albums of 2025. And then we'll curate at the end a cumulative top 10 for the Horsemen podcast 10 albums of 2025. So I shall kick this off with my list since I've already done the video. Starting off at number
Are we
10,
allowed to do honorable mentions?
might as well. So, some honorable mentions I have that actually didn't even make my top 50. The New Hooded Menace, I liked it, but I thought it was a bit of a strange album in terms of where it's going, even though I loved it. I don't think it was good enough to make my list this year.
It
The
was
new,
definitely an interesting album.
interesting. Like
I
it just
loved it.
felt I liked it a lot, but in comparison to like the last album, yeah, it was definitely a bit of a transitional one for sure.
It didn't really.
There's some different elements going on. I think it's going
It's
for a
like
little bit of
classic heavy metal,
accessibility.
like like classic heavy metal meets death doom,
I felt like
Yeah,
there was
and
there's
some
even
like.
some
gothic
big
metal
like
too.
merciful. There's like some merciful fate like melodies on that album.
I
Yeah,
felt like there was some like almost like Opeth-y parts on that album too. Like it's almost kind of
Hmm.
like kind of got like you say classic metal. I think it's also got a little bit of like classic prog rock influence on it as well in some spots.
and covering Duran Duran of all bands.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
interesting.
Some other honorable mentions: the new Whitechapel was really really
that was
good
on
for a
my list.
deathcore release, but I thought there was another deathcore album better than that one, and that's another honorable mention for the top 10, and that's Despised Icon. Really really dug the shit out of that one. Um, some other honorable mentions: the new Castle Rat was killer. The new Sayor album. If you ask me what's the most beautiful sounding album of the year, it's that one. Um, but yeah, there's quite a lot that I could mention. That if you want to know more opinions about that, you guys should check out my top 50 list for some of those. But now for my top 10 albums. At number 10, Blood Red Throne with Silkskin. Even though it's a bit cheating because it's only been out for a little over a week, but I think in terms of a straight up death metal album, I thought it was the best one this year. This year for straight up death metal was kind of quiet in comparison to the past number of years. Like there wasn't as
Hmm.
many like straight up traditional old school death metal albums that really stood out. Of course, with some exceptions like this, and even another honorable mention I'll bring up, and that's Leak with Necro. Um, Actually, another one that I completely forgot to mention is This Funeral from France. That was a really good one. But to me, Blood Red Throne stood head and shoulders above all the others, just for the simple fact that even though this is almost 2 full years after Nonagon, even though that came out January 2024, this one came out December of this year. It felt like it had more energy back into the band. Like there's more thrash, there's more triplet chugs back into the mix, which was something I thought was missing on Nonagon, as I keep bringing that up. But yeah, it's a killer album from the Norwegian Cannibal Corpse that we all call them. But yeah, killer album. Number 9, In Mourning with the Immortal. In terms of, in my opinion, the best prog album or prog death metal album, it would be that one. Just because, like as I keep saying, if you took Opeth and Insomnium and mashed them together, you get In Mourning. You get the mellow death of Insomnium, mixing with the prog of Opeth and even the vocal flips of Opeth, where you get growls and screams on one line and then amazing clean vocals on another. Even great vocal harmonies coming into play, for crying out loud, since you got 3 different vocalists who all each happen to be the guitarists of the band. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on, and yet I've still yet to get my CD copy, even though I pre-ordered it back in August, and it's still not here yet. But I think that proves I'm probably not going to be ordering from Bandcamp anytime soon. So unless it's for something here or in Canada, but yeah. Anyways, number 8, Revocation, New Gods, New Masters. If you were to ask me best Revocation album, I could make an argument for this one being their best. Like, it's still very much thrash meets tech death. Perhaps they're starting to explore a little bit more with a death metal centric sound, but still retaining their thrashy roots and getting some amazing guest vocals like Luke LeMay of Gorguts and Travis Ryan of Cattle Decapitation. And both guys played their parts very, very well on their songs. But musically, it's Revocation. What more could you want? Number 7, we have, for me, Black Braid with Black Braid 3. In my opinion, for as far as traditional black metal, the best album this year. I almost want to say Scour's debut, but that just barely missed the top 10 for me. But Black Braid, I mean, people want to call it starter black metal. Okay, that's a good thing, because if you get into Black Braid, chances are you'll get into bands like Gua, Uwada, Garia, Bathory, Immortal, because those are like the direct key bands I would compare to Black Braid in a big way. And one man project, and John, or whatever his stage name is, talented writer, talented vocalist, guitarist, coming up with some catchy, riffy black metal. It's like the last one sounded more evil, this one sounded more somber, which I appreciate. And that's why I went with that as my number 7 album. My number 6, the first 5 out of 5 release I gave this year, Warbringer's Wrath and Ruin. It's a little bit different than the other Warbringer albums, but still remains who they are. It's still aggressive, heavy, but bringing in a little bit more somber melody, since they tuned their guitars down to D instead of playing an E flat like they have been. But some people can make an argument this is the best Warbringer album, or at the very least on par with Weapons of Tomorrow, going toe to toe for that spot. But kind of perfectly encompasses why this year was such a big year for thrash, mainly in the underground. And Warbringer just proven why they're arguably the most consistent thrash revival band out there. My top 5, at my number 5 is Innumerable Forms with Pain Effulgence. As far as like Death Doom, like this year was kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say quiet, because there were a couple other big ones that almost made the top 10, like November's Doom and Paradise Lost. But I thought
Mhm.
Innumerable Forms and another one I'm going to talk about in a little bit were stronger for different reasons. Whereas Innumerable Forms, as I was saying in the earlier recording, very much like Hooded Menace meets Incantation. Like you get the blasting and tremolo of Incantation, but with the murk, nasty, heavy doom of Hooded Menace, but also adding dissonance too. to really make it stand out. Like that one was a big one that caught me by surprise because I believe it was the first time, maybe the second time I ever checked that band out. And whoa, I did not expect it to be as good as it was, and holy shit, it was damn near perfect. Number four, as even now, oh yeah, my number four, Coroner with Dissonance Theory. As far as comeback releases, easily the best one for me is for
Mm-hmm.
comeback albums because 32 years. I wasn't even alive yet when Grimm came out, but I have checked out most of their old catalog and I like how this one doesn't stay straight up thrash all the way through. Like it's still thrash. However, I would say this is like 60% progressive metal, honestly. Like they're kind of embracing being more a prog band than just being a thrash band, kind of like Voivod, but more riff forward and less about dissonance and more about straight up riffs, but also killer leads by Tommy T. Barron. Of course, Ron Roy's vocals still don't miss, even his bass work. And first album with their drummer Diego, who took over for Marky like 10 years ago. So yeah, killer album, and I hope we get a new one and we don't wait a long time for that one. Number three, Mesro with Architects, or not Architects, that's the song, Embrace the Awakening. Like, I've become a big fan of this band ever since I checked out their last one, Summoned Thy Demons. I have it, and their debut, Then Came to Killing. This is their comeback run after they released the debut and then broke up, came back 2 years ago with a new album that killed, and now back with this one, which I think is on par with Summon Thy Demons. So basically, the best way to describe Mesro, Swedish thrash band that's so inspired by Bay Area thrash, mainly Testament and Metallica. More so Testament than Metallica, but catchy riffs, soaring melodies, fun, thrashy vocals, and just high energy. Plus, fun fact, they're one of their guitarists produced the new Blood Red Throne album, so there's a connection there too. Ronnie Bjornstrom. But yeah, Mesro needs more fans. I think they're highly overlooked. Everybody, please check out Mesro, and this new album is a good place to begin, and then check out their other two albums. My number two, in my opinion, the best Death Doom, at least Death Doom adjacent album this year, 1914 with Verberus Unitas. Good
Mm-hmm.
God. That album is something else. Like I thought their last album, When Fear and Weapons Meet, was a masterpiece. This one I think might have topped it in terms of like being a tale of two halves. First half's like straight up like blackened death metal, like if Marduk had more death metal to them, or like Sulphur Aeon or Mid Era Behemoth. And then the second half is Death Doom all the way through, like Asphyx, Hooded Menace, the slower bolt thrower songs. Just put all that together into a blender and you get this album. And just as we all said, first half it feels like a soldier in World War One who's just ready to fight for his country, and then the second half is like realizing the horror of everything, thinking, "What have we done?"
Mm-hmm.
But number one, Testament Parabellum. In my
Mm-hmm.
opinion, the heaviest Testament album, the best album since Formation of Damnation, I would argue. And I just love how it's Testament, but a little bit different. Like, it's basically like if you took The Gathering and matched it with where they've gone on their last few albums, and you get this. Like, you get some black metal, you get quite a lot of death metal on here too, but it's still a thrash album through and through. And I mean, Infanticide AI would be up there amongst my favorite songs of the year. Same with Meant to Be, which I could make an argument that might be a top three ballad of their career. For the Love of Pain, Nature of the Beast being like their kind of homage to like Van Halen and Judas Priest. And the title track is just a galloping chugathon. So yeah, Testament Parabellum, my number one. And that is my top 10. And now I shall turn it over to Hunter.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, this year, yeah, it was very difficult to put my list together. I only limited myself to 10, to a top 10, just like I did last year, because it's like if I did like a top, even like a top 20 or like a top 25, I would have spent like 5 years making that list, roughly, probably. So yeah, I limited myself to only 10, but I do have a couple honorable mentions I do want to bring up. Some pretty big releases that I did love this year, but didn't quite make my top 10, like Titan Blood from the Visceral Abyss, fucking was absolutely awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Paradise Lost Ascension, I thought was really good. Volume 6 by Sacrifice was fucking absolutely
Mm-hmm.
killer. Major Arcana by November's Doom was really good this year. A couple other smaller ones maybe I want to bring up. Penitence and Ruin by Tribunal was another really good Death Doom album that came out this year. Scapulomancy by Hedonist was pretty good death metal. Never Known Peace by Doomsday was a really killer thrash album. Popol Vuh by Bolan, I hope I'm saying that right. Mesoamerican black metal, that was really good. Giants of the Twisting Sun by Crown of Anguish, Nile worshipping death metal came out earlier this year. That was really fucking good. So those are just my honorable mentions. Getting now into the top 10. So we're starting off with number 10, of course, like we normally do on these lists. And this is actually my favorite thrash metal album of the year. And thrash metal, I think, was pretty damn good this year. There were some really, really good albums this year, and one pretty big stinker that we already mentioned. But for me, the one album that I think stood out above all the rest for thrash metal was Changelings by the band Species. So this is a Polish technical slash progressive thrash metal act, and this album, like it to me, this album is basically if Rush made a thrash metal album in 2025. It is, and it's so fucking good. Like, I mean, yeah, if you love stuff like Coroner and Watchtower and Voivod, Aspid, Toxic, like pretty much any technical prog thrash band you can think
Mm-hmm.
of, you have to listen to this album because it is so fucking good. Like the riffs on this album are just insanely well written, great vocals, and yeah, it's like technical and like proggy, but it doesn't go too far into that territory. Like it still maintains like all the intensity and the speed required for a thrash album. And yeah, I absolutely love this album. Like I said, it's it's basically if Rush made a thrash metal album in 2025. It is that fucking good. And yeah, $20 spin release, so you know it's good. $20 spin rarely misses. So yeah, that's my number 10. Changelings by Species. My number 9 choice, we're gonna go into talk about some death metal this year, and more specifically brutal death metal, which honestly, it was pretty quiet this year, all things considered. There weren't too many like big name brutal death metal releases. Like I think all the big bands except for like Internal Bleeding were fairly quiet. But one album that really, really stuck out to me was the album Nefarious Scintillations by the band Dead and Dripping. So this is a New Jersey, actually one man death metal project, and it's been around for a few years now. I believe first time came out in 2000, yeah, 2020. So they've been around for a few years now at this point. But this album is fucking nuts. Like, I mean, yeah, Dead and Dripping, obviously, it's a reference to the Cryptopsy song, which is awesome. And yeah, Cryptopsy, there's a lot of Cryptopsy-isms all over this album. Like, the drum work is very Flo Meunier esque, but I can't stress this enough. This album is fucking weird. Like there's so many like it's brutal death metal, so you get all sorts of blast beats and really guttural vocals and just chug along riffs, but it's also very atonal at times. It's very dissonant. It's almost kind of psychedelic even at some spots. There's almost like kind of these jazz fusiony parts that pop up every now and again. It's a really fucking bizarre, all over the place album, but it all comes together. It all really, really, really works. Uh, yeah, like the album art, I think is absolutely awesome, and yeah, it's a weird album, but I have really, really grown to love it. So again, if you're a fan of stuff like Cryptopsy, but also like there's definitely comparisons to be made to like Gore Guts, like later era Gore Guts, and like Immolation, Defeated Sanity, Mortal Decay. If you like any of those bands, I think this is definitely a very noteworthy, or definitely an album I think you should check out. Nefarious Scintillations by Dead and Dripping. That was my number 9 choice. My number 8 choice. I think for which, in my opinion, the genre that probably had the best representation this year, honestly, was black metal. Like I think black metal had a very, very good run this year with tons of just excellent black metal albums. And for me, one of the big ones was Tavast Land by Havak Runu. So of course, this is the latest off
Mm.
these Finnish black metal guys, and yeah, they've been around for actually kind of a while now. They started way back in 2005, but I would still consider them to be more of like a more modern black metal act. And I am really happy. I feel like this album is finally giving them like the attention that they deserve, and I feel like they've kind of are being talked about more now and ever, which I think is awesome to see because this band really deserves all the love they can get. And yeah, this album, like it's pagan black metal, so you know it's very cold, it's very dark, it's very grim. Like it just kind of has the vibe, a feel of like being lost in the forest in the wintertime and like, you know, kind of searching for your lost pagan gods and whatnot. That whole vibe I love personally, and there's all sorts of, you know, folk elements on this album and stuff. But this album, the thing that really stuck out to me about this album is that it's really fun. Like it's a very catchy, fun album. And reading more about this album, like apparently for this band, like one of their big musical influences, actually, to my surprise, is Manowar. And you actually, and once you have that information in mind, you listen to this album, like you can actually really hear that influence because there's a lot of like classic heavy metal, like U.S. power metal influences on this album, like in the riff play and just in the composition of the song structures and everything. I'm not gonna try to read like any of the song titles or anything because they're all in Finnish, and Finnish is a fucking hard language.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, but yeah, this album I thought was just absolutely kick ass. Yeah, Tavasland, Havakarunu, my number 8. Yeah, one of the best black metal albums of the year. Not my favorite though, because I actually have a few more on here that I think were a little bit better, but still excellent, excellent album. Maybe their best album to date. Let's see what's next. My number 7 choice. We're going to talk about some more black metal. We're going to go from Finland to France now. This is the band Cenotaph or Cenotaph. It's Cenotaph, but in French. So apologies for my horrible pronunciation. And this is their album Chimere, which came out back in June. And yeah, this is just another really, really killer black metal album. Like I would say it's kind of more like straightforward black metal a little bit. Like it kind of has that more second wave, kind of more traditional style. It's not like not necessarily like super raw or anything or like very, very lo-fi production. Like just in like the riff play and in the composition, it's very, very traditional black metal, but it's just done so well. Like all the riffs on this album are super, super stand out. And yeah, like I said, it's just a very, very, very well written black metal album. The song Titans is probably my favorite on here, and that's the only song title I can actually pronounce because again, the rest of it is in fucking French, and I'm not even gonna bother trying to pronounce it. That's a big theme on my list actually, is song titles being in different languages, so forgive me for that. But yeah, again, if you're just looking for just like again, very, very well done, well written traditional black metal, this is definitely the album for you. It does kind of have a more sorrowful vibe at times, I would say, but overall, just another killer black metal album. All right, my number 6. Speaking of song titles I cannot pronounce, we have the band Rotadas from Hungary, and this is their album Toviskert, which is not the full name of the album, but again, it's in fucking Hungarian, so fuck trying to pronounce any of that. Yeah, so Rotadas, Hungarian, Def Doom act, and yeah, this is just a nasty, heavy slab of Def Doom, which Def Doom had a pretty good run this year, I would say, because obviously we already mentioned Paradise Lost, November's Doom, Rude Magic. We haven't brought them up yet, but they had a killer album this year as well. This
Yeah.
is definitely more, I would say, kind of in that in the vein of the more death metal forward Def Doom. Like a lot of this is very, very comparable to stuff I would say like Incantation, Disma, Spectral Voice, Mortiferum, Ripikulu, like you know, that very just heavy, nasty style of Def Doom. There are some melodic parts that occasionally pop up on his album, and it kind of gives us like you give them like a nice flair. Like it's not just all heaviness and doom and gloom. Like there are these occasional spots of melody that pop up, but it's not even like super like pretty like melodies. Like it's still very much kind of like more like Def Doom melodies, so they're more kind of melancholic and still heavy in parts. But yeah, I think the production of this album, it's very, very old school sounding. And again, Sontas are all in fucking Hungarian, so fuck trying to say any of that. Look, Hungarian's a hard ass language. Hungarian might even be more difficult than Finnish. I don't know. But yeah, again, this is just a nasty, heavy Def Doom album that I've absolutely grown to love. I think this is honestly even better than their last album, which came out in 2021. And yeah, I hope this band kind of gets a little bit more attention from people because I feel like this album kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people. But yeah, this album is fucking absolutely killer. So again, if you like any of the bands I mentioned, Spectral Voice, Mortiferum, Disma, Rippy Kulu, Incantation, stuff like that, this is definitely an album for you. So popping in now into the top five, my number five choice is Baron Alter and their album Bound by Impermanence. So this is a California-based blackened doom metal act, and this is probably the most anguished and like tormented album I've heard this year because my god, the vocals on this album are just like if you want to hear the sound of a man who has the entire weight of the world hooked into his skin and pulling him down, that is the album. This is the album for you because my god, the vocals on this album, like it switches back and forth between these absolutely fucking tormented black metal screams, and then you have these more heavy, like death doom style roars that pop up every now and again. Again, I like that nice contrast between those two different vocal styles that pop up. And yeah, musically, it's very, very well written too. Like it does flow very, very well. Like you'll get moments where it kind of is just more straightforward black metal, where it's tremolo and a steady drum beat, and then moments where it gets very, very slow and just very, very, very doomy. And yeah, the lyrics on this album and everything, it's a very just nihilistic and very tormented album. In terms of what I would compare it to, I would say probably like I guess Dragged into Sunlight would probably be a fairly apt comparison. Like in the more black metal kind of moments, it kind of does feel more like a kind of Batushka esque a little bit, I would say. But yeah, again, Black and Doom metal album. Yeah, Baron Alter, Bound by Impermanence. Fucking it's an anguished fucking album. All right, my number four is probably by far the most anticipated album on my list, or probably the most popular album I would say. And it is the latest offering from Drut entitled Shadowplay, which I feel like anyone who knows me, anyone who knows my channel knows that I am a gigantic Drut fanboy, and yep, I love literally pretty much everything that band has done. And so it's really no surprise that Shadowplay made my top five because this really is just like does it reinvent the wheel? Does it necessarily do like anything new? No. Does it have to? Also no. Like again, it's just an exceptionally well written black metal album. Like it kind of, rides that fine line between atmospheric and like folk black metal because you get the elements of those two styles on here. But like dude, songs like April and like The Exile, the Thirst. I just love the very melancholic vibe all throughout this album. It's very sorrowful and like reflective. Yeah, I absolutely love this band, and this album is really no exception. Like honestly, if I were to do a Drew ranking, it would probably rank fairly high. Honestly, I wouldn't put it over like their absolute classics like Blood in Our Wells or anything, but it would be fairly high on my list. So yeah, that's my number four, Drew with Shadowplay. My number three, and this is my favorite doom metal album of the year, and it is Mendacium from Evoken. So yeah, Evoken, in my eyes, they can do no wrong. I absolutely love everything this band has done. They are one of the pioneers of funeral doom, one of the grandfathers of that whole style. I've always really, really, really liked this band because I feel like a lot of their stuff is much closer to more like traditional death doom than a lot of their contemporaries. Like you listen to Evoken and then you go and listen to bands like Skepticism or like Esoteric. Like their sound is much more closer to that traditional death doom style, but it's still very funeral doom in my opinion. Like it's still very just like heavy and slow and anguished and dark. And yeah, again, this album it's an hour long, but it doesn't drag to me at all. Like all the songs flow perfectly. And yeah, I mean, I could go on and on, but yeah, I love literally everything about this album. Production is perfect for this style. The vocals are amazing. Like all the riff work and all the yes, everything about it. I love the artwork on this one too. This is one of my favorite album arts of the year. Honestly, I also love the way they did their logo too. Like they change up the logo on like every single album of theirs, but I like the way they did this one on this album. But yeah, Evoken, Mendacium again. I feel like anyone who knows me knows is going to be on my list. But yeah, Evoken, I love that band and I love this album. So that's my number three. My number two, and I will preface this by saying that kind of for me, like my number, only like my number three probably is like really set in stone. Like all the other ones could easily be just like moved around or swapped out with other albums. Because again, so many great albums this year. Like only my top three are really set in stone, I would say. But my number two is the debut album from this band, and the band is Zacridus or Zacridus, however the fuck you say it, and their album La Grande Heresie. So this is the latest project from one Philippe Tugas of Quebec, who you all know from various bands like Cathedalist and Atramentis and
Worm,
yeah, Worm, First Fragment, Funebrarum. He's
Void
been
Ceremony.
Yep, Void Ceremony. He has been really all over the place. So yeah, he's kind of almost I would say like an underrated metal master just because he's so all over the place. And he also still has a very recognizable style. But yeah, this album, like if I didn't know any better, I would say this album probably came out in like 1992 or something because it has that perfect old school black metal sound. And it's not this is like that weird kind of period of black metal history where the first wave was kind of dying out and the second wave was taking its place. A lot of this I compare to a lot of those bands that fit in that style. Like a lot of this is very comparable to I'd say early Rotting Christ, like Thy Mighty Contract era, Rotting Christ. Apparently, I'm making boss very bored, so I do apologize. I'll be done soon. Don't worry.
Nah, you're fine, dude. I'm just wore
Yeah,
out.
I feel yeah. But yeah,
Same.
stuff like Necromantia is very comparable. Veraphron is very comparable. Even stuff like Mortuary Drape, and there's even some elements in here that are almost like doom metal. There's hints of even just like classic heavy metal. Like there's riffs on the sound that are honestly feel like they were lifted off of like a Running Wild album or like a Halloween album. Like it really is a bunch of different
Hmm.
styles all thrown together. Like even some like Mystifier or like Sarcophago moments that pop up in here as well. Like it's so many different elements all thrown together, but it all works so damn well. And yeah, I just absolutely love this album. This is definitely my favorite black metal album of the year. It is my number two though, because there is one album that just ever so slightly topped it. And yeah, my number one, it is Wolves of the Trench by Grenadier. This album is fucking
Mm.
absolutely incredible because this is what melodic death metal should be in my opinion. Like it's got great melodies all throughout it, but it's still very death metal forward. It's still very heavy. It just pummels you with riffs. And yeah, again, this is the kind of because I feel like with a lot of melodeath bands, they let the melody overtake the death metal part of their sound, especially with a lot of newer melodeath bands, I would say. But this sorry, this is like the perfect like melodeath album to me, in my opinion. And yeah, Newfoundland. This band is of course from Newfoundland and Labrador, so that they get points for me for being Canadian. But yeah, this album, like, it's not even just like melodic death metal either. Like, it's very comparable to a lot of people might write off this band as just like kind of an Argus Lent clone or like an Intestine Ballism clone. Yeah, that sound is definitely on here as well. But there's even hints of like black metal that pop up occasionally, especially in some vocal passages. You get lots of elements of like thrash that pop up, even occasional clean vocals that pop up on. I think they only pop up on one song of this album, but they really, really work. And it's just kind of like that's a neat little thing that he did. So yeah, if you are a fan of again Argos Land without minus the racism, I will say minus the racism. If you love stuff like Intestine Ballism, House of Atreus, the Hemmens, Dungeon Serpent, but also yeah, like Ari's Kingdom, or even some stuff like the Chasm, kinda, or like later Cenotaph, Mexican Cenotaph. This is an absolutely essential album for you. Yeah, both. Is it better than their first album? Tough call. I know I love both of these albums, but yeah, this is my favorite album of the year, Wolves of the Trench by Grenadier.
Alrighty, boss, time for your top 10.
All right. Well, I did a top 35 list on my channel. If you want to go check it out, feel free. So yeah, I do have more than obviously five honorable mentions, but I am only going to include the five that I have here. So my first honorable mention, The Haunted, Songs of Last Resort. I actually forgot to put this on the list. Again, a lot of really damn good releases this year, and some are unfortunately going to slip through, but I do like this more than the last Crown album, even though I did like the last The Crown album. I like this a little bit more. It basically feels like it's going back to their old school roots, like with their self-titled "Made Me Do It" and so on and so forth, and just fantastic songs throughout. And it's like these guys never slow down to begin with. "Hell Is Wasted on the Dead's a pretty big standout for me. My second honorable mention, an album I don't have a physical copy of, but it is the band Them with Psychedelic Enigma. This is basically a play on of King Diamond, and basically it's traditional heavy metal with a little bit of a power metal vibe to it. And it's just a great album throughout. I was very, very, very surprised with how much I really enjoyed them. I've heard of them, obviously, but it's really damn good. It's on Steam. They're on Steam Hammer Records, which I think is really nice, and it has a little bit of a nice like little theme that they have with them. It's really damn good. A little bit of a more power metal kind of vibe on some of the solos, especially. But Electric Church is a pretty big standout to me. For that album as well. My next honorable mention: Hate Bellum Regis. Basically Behemoth, but actually not cringy. This is my favorite pure black and death metal album of the year. This is just some fantastic stuff. Makes me want to check out their earlier stuff. You can't listen to everything, guys, unfortunately. But was it Awakening of the Liar? Is that one of their albums?
Hmm.
All right, I need to check that one out. But yeah, this is just some fantastic stuff. Love the vocals. The rest are really nice and evil, and it's really damn good stuff. My next honorable mention, is it yes, Cryptopsy and Unsustainable Violence. Shout out to you, Maniac, your boys, here in Canada. I
Yep.
liked As Gomorrah Burns. I thought that was a pretty solid album. Really nice direction we're going with Mike McGarchie. This is a better album though. This thing is fucking heavy, and I think you said it when you talked about it in your top 50 list, Levi. I would argue the best since None So Vile. And I haven't checked out all of Cryptopsy's albums, but holy shit, this thing is just pummeling from start to finish. Like the vocals are actually really well done. Yeah, it's a bit overproduced, but I can easily overlook it. But Flo is just murdering that kid like it owes him money. And The Art of Emptiness is a huge, huge, huge standout. And my final honorable mention, you mentioned it in your top 10, Levi. Revocation, New Gods, New Masters. I wanted to put this in my top 10, but unfortunately, there was one album that beat it out, unfortunately. But this album's a fucking banger. It's Riff City, for sure. Absolute Riff City. The nice, like, thrashy bite this album has is really damn good. Sarcophany of the Soul, the title track, Confines of Infinity that features Travis Ryan. The song Cronenberg is a pretty fun song. I actually love that title as a whole. So yeah, that is my five honorable mentions. Now on to the top 10. Kicking off with my number 10, Rivers of Nile, self-titled. Again, I was debating whether I would have put this or the new Revocation album higher because I originally had this in my top 15, but the more I listened to it, the more higher it uh flew on my list. This is a fucking incredible album, and I liked the work. I thought that was a solid album, but this feels like the appropriate follow up to Where Owls Know My Name. Like this is Where Owls Know My Name Part Two. They really got the more progressive, but yet the more technical side done, and throw in some more melody, and you get a really damn good album. Water and Time and House of Light are two huge standouts for me in particular, and the album artwork's pretty fucking cool too. So, yeah, really damn good stuff. Really, really, really solid. Mellow death, progressive, technical death metal for this year. My number 9 is an album that I wish, or a band I wish I would have checked out more before I listened to them. Ambush with Evil in All Dimensions. Basically a throwback to the classic metals of yore, like Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, some Accept, Saxon, Angel Witch, throwing a little bit of Motorhead and throwing some Exciter on this bastard, and you get a fucking killer album here. The vocals are really nice. Love the riffs, nice like big Maiden galloping riffs, especially on like Iron Sign. But the title track, I Fear the Blood's a really nice kind of like mid tempo kind of ballad like track. Bending to Steel's fun, and Heavy Metal Brethren is just a fucking anthem of a song. So yeah, Ambush is at my number 9. Coming in at my number 8, you mentioned it in your top. I think it was your number 5, Levi. Innumerable Forms, Pain, Effulgence. Fuck me sideways and call me Sally. This is by far the heaviest fucking album I've heard all year. Like sour lemons in your mouth. Like I swear to God, when I heard this album, that I actually listened on the same week as the new Deftones album, which that was a really damn good album in itself. I thought I was having like warheads, like the sour warheads in my mouth. I'm like, oh, stank riff on top of stank riff on top of stank riff. Jesus Christ, I'm like reacting when Rikishi would give you the stink face for Christ's sake. But yeah, it's the best pure Death Doom album I've heard, but good God, dude. Like Blotted Inside, oh my God. Good lord. It's fucking oozing with just disgusting riffs. Like it's almost giving Incantation a run for its money for God's sake. But yeah, fantastic album. I couldn't find a physical copy of it, unfortunately, but it's fucking killer. I think Ricky may have loved it as well. So, yeah, it's a fantastic album, and it's my number 8. My number 7, I think you had it on your list as well, Levi. Warbringer, Wrath and Ruin. My first full Warbringer listening experience. I listened to a couple songs from some albums, but never fully listened to an album. But I think I picked a really damn good one to really listen to because holy shit, the riffs on this album are insane. Even though the vocals are I'm a little hit and miss with, I think are really, really well done. The drum work's fantastic. You guys are bored of my shit. I am fully understandable. Um, but the sword and the cross, the neuromancer, the jackhammer, through a glass darkly, Shrek from the sky, the last of my kind. I mean, it's nothing but riffs. And the Almar works pretty fucking cool too. So yeah, my number 7 is Warbringer. My number 6, I am shocked you didn't have this as an honorable mention there, Levi. Soulfly with Shama or
Chama.
Kama Shama. Yeah, I don't know how you pronounce that word. Oh my god. I don't know if this is just me or not, but when listening to this album and looking at the album artwork, I got so unnerved with this album. I don't know why, but listening to tracks like Storm the Gates and Nihilist and Black Hole Scum, which is a pretty fun spin on Black Hole Sun, and listening and look at this album cover of this like tribalistic sacrifice or something like that. It gives off this creepy under vibe. Like it might have to, something to do with the dissonant atmosphere that Max and it's not, is it Igor or is it his
Igor
son?
Amadeus.
Igor Amadeus. Yeah, just something about it just makes me feel so on edge about it. But Gehenna, Favala Dystopia, the title track. Yeah, this was a huge, huge, huge standout to me. Again, I'm kind of shocked it wasn't on your list, Levi, but fuck me sideways. I don't know if I like this more than Totem. I think Totem is just a fucking pube hair better than this one, but this
Hmm.
was still a fantastic album. I was really, really, really excited about it, and it was one of my most anticipated albums of the year. So number 6 it is. Number 5, I mean, come on, gruesome with silent echoes. It's Human Part 2 for God's sake. I'm on that shit like a fat kid on a cupcake. Um, if you listen if you make an album that is similarly close to my favorite death metal album of all time, you're gonna get fucking brownie points for me. This is Matt Harvey, formerly of Exhumed. This is his side project with
Still
some
an exam.
other guys. Oh, he's still in Exhumed. I think Daniel Gonzalez is in this
From
band, and a couple
Possess,
other guys.
Robin
This is like,
Mason from Castrator, and Gus Rios, who I can't remember who he's playing for right now.
Yeah. And to be clear, it's Matt Harvey, not Matt Hafey, as stated in your video originally.
yeah, I know. It's that's my bad. I got my name. I'm like, wait a minute. No, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
was watching your video and I just heard Matt Hafey and I was like, huh? Like, huh?
no,
Huh?
I got it mixed up.
Yeah,
But
that's good.
I mean, yeah, it's a fantastic album to me. It makes me want to check out some of their other stuff too, like Savage Lands and the one before that. I mean, they're basically going through all of Death's discography, which I'm kind of curious how they're going to do their version of individual thought patterns. But Condemned Identity, Darkened Window, Shards, the title track, Reason Denied. I mean, the production's more of an analog recording, but yeah, I mean, again, it's Human Part 2. I'm going to be fucking all over that thing. So, yeah, it's my number 5, one of my favorite death metal albums, but not my favorite death metal album. I'll get to that here in a little bit. Coming in on my number 4, you mentioned it, Levi, Corner with Dissonance Theory. This is one of my most anticipated albums of the year, and it did not disappoint because, like I think you just said, this is more rift oriented. This is more riff focus, if you will, and it's fucking killer. I absolutely dug it. I didn't know what to expect from it because I've heard only snippets of some early Corner. I know I need to check out more of their discography. Again, I can't listen to everything, but this album is really wanting me to check out their early stuff like Leave My Scars, Punishment for Decadence, and No More Color, and all that stuff. But yeah, from top to bottom, this is a brilliant album from start to finish. The more progressive elements work. It just works here. Like the riffs are so fucking good. Like Transparent Eye, when it gets to like that final section where it's just nothing but like a riff fest, it's so damn good. Honestly, it's like if Tool in a way was a little more thrashy. Like you get the more like progressive elements of Tool, but you add some more like heavy thrash in there, and that's what it kind of reminds me of. The Law's a big standout. Consequence, Sacrificial Lamb, Trinity, Symmetry. I mean, top to bottom, it's all killer. Really damn good stuff, and hopefully we don't have to wait 3 decades for another album, please. Because the Alice Cooper band, which that was on my list, they waited 50 years to make another album, give or take. Only took about them half a fucking century. But but yeah, New Corner, absolutely killer. It is my number 4. My number 3 is my favorite pure death metal album of the year, Benediction, Ravage of Empires. Oh my god, the riffs. And it's funny too that this album has no solos, and I didn't care about it. Like, would solos be nice? Absolutely. I didn't care. The riffs were so fucking good on this album. Mark Ingram is probably one of the more underrated death metal vocalists. Even though he spent some time in both Thor, obviously. But oh wait, no, it's Dave Ingram, not Mark Ingram. Who the fuck am I talking about?
Mark Ingram.
Shut up. I have a. Never mind.
No, it's
Um,
just funny.
I know. It's autism. Trust me. But yeah, the riffs on this album are so damn good. There's a lot of thrash involved, but you still have that more death metal like vocal style. A Carrion Harvest, Genesis Chamber, Engines of War. Like I want to fucking air guitar that song to its heart content. Like ever since I heard that song, I'm like, oh, that's really good. That's nice. Crawling Over Corpses, Drought of Misery, Psycho Sister's a fun song in the title track. I love it. I can't really say much more about it. I need to check out their early stuff like The Grand Leveler and Transcend the Rubicon, but it's a fantastic album. It's riffy, it's fun, it's everything you love about death metal. on a brilliant package that got fucking damaged because Amazon's stupid. But I digress. But yeah, that's my number three. My number two, damn you, Levi. 1914, Veribus Unitas. Ah, I needed to check out more 1914 before I listened to this album, but I didn't have time. When this thing dropped, I swear to God that I felt like as the album went on, the more, to me personally, when you listen to the album, you feel like you're in that perspective of when the soldiers were going to war. Like it's a kind of gloom and just haunting like soundscape for a war. Like the whole battles that went on during that time period. And by the time you're done with it, it's like you went through the entire thing with those soldiers, and it really it exploits the horrors of war. And that's why I feel like 1914 really does really well with this album in particular. Um, and the little samples that they do at the beginnings of each track really sets the tone and sets the mood. Again, the first half is more black and death metal. It's riffy, it's evil, it's demonic sounding. And then with the second half, it's more, glum. It's more somber. It's more just heartbreaking to a lesser extent with the 1918 second wing of or second battle of the Purvy River, the Purvy River, Piave River, however the fuck you say that. That whole trilogy is just unnerving, especially part two, Prisoner of War. Like that, like the atmosphere, you feel so encapsulated by it in particular. But 1915 Easter Battle for the Zumwinen Ridge. 1917 the Izizo Front. And 1919 the Home Where I Died. Like, holy shit, this is just a haunting fucking album, and it's done brilliantly by these guys, and the album artwork's really damn good too.
The Purby River, I
But
think that's the river Blackie Lawless owns.
do what?
I think that's the river Blackie Lawless owns, the Purby River.
Well, maybe, or that, or Gene Simmons. But my number one, I knew when this album dropped, this was going to be in my top three, but it ended up being my number one because I'm so fucking predictable. Testament's Parabellum. I, I mean, come on. How can it not be? How can it not be? It's one of my favorite thrash acts of all time. I will go as far as to say this is the best album they've done since The New Order, in my personal opinion. I love everything, well, almost everything that they've done since then. This is the heaviest album they've done. Like, yeah, Demonic was heavy and all, but this is way better than Demonic. This is them firing on all cylinders and just making the heaviest shit that they could possible. And I believe that's secretly in part to Jens Bogren doing the production instead of Andy Sneap. But Chris Dover, who is the new guy in filling in for formerly Gene Hoglan and unfortunately Dave Lombardo, who I'm so fucking mad that we didn't get an album with him, but it's okay, Dave. We still love you no matter what. Just make a fucking album, please. That's all I ask. A fat girl can dream. We got you with the Gathering, so it's all good. But joking aside, when I heard Infecticide AI, I'm like, okay,
You
we're in
now
for a
have my
treat, aren't we?
attention, Kano.
You got my attention now there, buddy Bill. But all the singles that dropped are fucking amazing. Shadow People is so damn catchy. There's a nice big groove to it that I really do like. For the Love of Pain, one of the more chaotic songs they have done. That is just all over the map with like thrash, death metal, some black metal thrown in there. It's like holy shit, they haven't done that since The Gathering. And honestly, like this feels like The Gathering, I guess part two in a way, but better. Like it's like that in a way. High Noon, Nature of the Beast has a more kind of classic vibe to it. Havana Syndrome, the title track, but Meant to Be, which is basically their version of Fade to Black, really reflects how this year was for me. And I'm not gonna lie, that song got me tearing up a couple of times.
Yeah,
I almost cried when I did my review of the album because it's like, damn, yeah, that kind of hit home hard a little bit. And well, it's kind of a simple song in all honesty. The way it's constructed, it's so fucking beautiful. Like the strings that they do, like the more symphonic elements they put in there. But yeah, I mean, it's a fucking perfect album. The album artwork is awesome too. Yeah, not much more needs to be said about it. It's number one for me. Basic. What can I say?
well, now to put together our final top 10, I think safe to say Testament and 1914 and Coroner
Our number
definite
one. Yeah,
are definite in there.
That's gonna be
Um,
tough because nothing on my list ended up on your guys' list.
I
So
know that's the worst
yeah,
part.
I know because most of them
I,
I didn't even know about. Like Evoken, I'm willing to put Evoken in there because I at least did listen to that and I thought it was really good. So I could put Evoken in there. So that's four. Mm,
We had the new Corner album up high too.
yeah, I said Corner. Also, the new Warbringer would probably be in the running since we had that twice.
Yeah.
So that's six.
five, six, five. No, it's only five, right?
Testament 1914, Coroner,
Corner.
Evoken, Warbringer. Okay, five.
Yeah, it's
And
five.
then five more. Innumerable
We could
forms.
put. Yeah, that could be number six. The new Revocation, even though it was an honorable mention for me, that could be like maybe number nine, maybe.
Yeah. And then
Mhm.
I'm trying to
Oh man.
remember two.
Because everything else after that, we really didn't have anything in
In
like
common.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Hunter being the out there one with a lot of his picks.
Yeah.
Uh I guess hmm. Trying to remember what did you have for number three, boss?
Benediction.
Benediction. And
You,
then
I think you had that lower on your top 50, but you
yeah.
still put.
Yeah, that didn't quite make my list. So
Yeah. Ah man, to come up with four more is gonna be tough.
yeah.
Hmm. I would
Hmm.
honestly I personally would fight for the I would personally fight actually just to throw in an oddball throw in the new Sayor into the conversation.
I didn't listen to it. I didn't have time for it.
I think I missed that one too as
Ah,
well.
okay, never mind. Uh you know what? I'd say let's put Paradise Lost in there.
You know, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, let's put Paradise
I
Lost
have
Ascension in there.
Paradise Lost. That was actually my number 18 of the year.
That was probably around I think I had it at like 15 or 14 somewhere in there. I'd say let's
I
put
only
That was
did
a
Paradise
hell of an
Lost in
album,
there.
though.
I only did a top 10, but if I did like the top 20, it would probably be like 15 or 14.
Yeah, so I'd say let's put Paradise
If
Lost in
Ricky was here, he would
fight for
probably
it.
bat at that album.
If Ricky was here, I'd imagine he'd probably fight pretty hard for November's Doom too.
Yeah, I have that as my number 16. It almost made
It
like
was
the
in my
honorable mentions of it.
somewhere in the 20s on my list.
That was a hell of an album, though. Like
Oh
the
yeah.
my God, that guy's
Actually, you know
vocals are
what?
so
I'll
fucking
tell you
good.
what. I'll throw you a bone, boss. I say we put the Haunted in there since we both
Yeah.
had it in like the top 20 range. So I'd say the Haunted. So that's eight. Uh,
Did you have Hate up? Oh, no, you have the. Did
I
you
had
have the new
Hate.
Cryptopsy album?
Yeah, I had Cryptop. Yeah, we could put Cryptopsy. I think I had that
Yeah.
at 15. So one more.
Um what about no, I don't think because I don't think Sacrifice made Boss's list.
No,
It
that
was
was an
all. It
honorable
was in
mention.
my somewhere in the 20s for me.
Yeah.
Let's see,
I mean,
Whitechapel, Hood and
I feel like we already
Menace.
have what, like Testament, Warbringer, and Corner in there. I don't even think we really need another thrash band in there, and the Haunted. So
Yeah, that's 4.
yeah,
Uh, hmm.
I had the new single Sigabog album up a little high too.
That would have
I
been an
really
honorable
enjoyed.
mention too. You know
I
what?
didn't like that. I
You
didn't
know
like
what?
that one.
You
So
know what? I think we should add something black metal in there. I say we give that to Scour.
I mean, it was on my list,
It was my
but it
number
was lower.
13. I had it as my 13.
uh,
It was my number 34. Like I
there was
like I enjoyed it for what it was, but I liked the albums
did,
more.
did Titan Blood make your list,
It
Levi?
was in my 30s.
Okay,
You know what?
That was
Screw
an
it.
honorable
Screw
mention
it.
on my
Let's
list.
add Titan Blood.
yeah,
I'm good with that.
Okay.
That will be the number 10. Now to rearrange, I think the top 3 are going to probably
it's
be
fair.
Testament, 1914, and Coroner.
And Coroner.
The number 4 probably would go with Innumerable Forms, Revocation 5, Warbringer 6,
Well, no.
or
What
Warbringer above
innumerable
Revocation.
forms? Innumerable forms, I'd say, is number 6 because that we had that around the same number.
But we had like I had it higher than Warbringer and
Yeah,
Revocation.
Okay.
Which one did you have it higher than out of the two? Or both?
I have Warbringer as my number 7 and innumerable forms as my number 8.
Okay,
So we can have
so we could do
Warbringer be number
Warbringer at 4, numerable blah, 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 blah. Innumerable
innumerable
forms
forms at
5,
5.
and then Revocation 6. Then the
um,
Haunted, then Cryptopsy, then Evoken, then Titanblood.
yeah, I like that.
That's fine.
There we go.
That's fine.
So
Yeah,
there's the Horsemen podcast approved top 10 albums of 2025. We have Titan Blood with From the Visceral Abyss at number 10. Number 9, Evoken
Mendacium.
Mendacium. I just couldn't remember how to pronounce it. Number 8, we had Cryptopsy with An Insatiable Violence. Number 7, The Haunted with Songs of Last Resort. 6, Revocation, New Gods, New Masters. Number 5, Innumerable Forms, Pain, Effulgence. 4, Warbringer, Wrath and Ruin. 3, Coroner, Dissonance Theory. 2, 1914, Berberus Unitas. And number 1, Testament, Parabellum.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I'm
I'm
definitely like
fine
the
with that.
oddball in this
Yeah.
little group because I would. I mean, I'm not gonna say I disagree necessarily, but there's like,
You like the more underground
He's more of
stuff.
the underground black metal guy out of all of us, so
yeah, it's because I kind of wanted
I think you and Hannah would get along swimmingly.
Oh
because
yeah, she loves the obscure shit.
And
well,
black
see,
metal.
me too. It's also like I did like the new coroner, but I wasn't like head over heels in love with it like a lot of people were because for me, I don't want to say I was let down by it or that I was disappointed by it because I really wasn't, but
Hmm.
it's just not really what I was expecting from Corner. Because like I was heard, when Corner's coming back, I'm expecting something that's more akin to R.I.P. or Punishment for Decadence or No More Color. But to me, like this
They
album,
kind of went for like a hybrid of Mental Vortex and Grin almost.
that's what I was gonna say. It feels like the missing link almost between Mental Vortex and Grin.
Hmm.
But I mean, I did still really like it, but it just wasn't really what I was expecting. Not to say it's bad or anything. It's just not quite what I wanted.
Yeah. But with all that said, that's going to conclude this year in terms of the Horseman podcast. We'll hopefully be back sooner and more hosts will be coming in as we've got some interviews on the docket still, like Arthur Risk. Ulf from Mesro will more than likely be on the show at some point. Possibility of getting everybody from Castrator on the show, not just Carol the drummer. Maybe get the whole band, which would be fun. Maybe get some Blood Red Throne dudes back on, like Sindre and Gunner together. That would be fun. Still a lot of possibility, of course, and of course the
Yeah.
big thing is we want to expand the group. You know, instead of it just
Mhm.
always being just me or just me and Ricky, we could have Hunter, we could have Boss, and a couple people I know from Instagram who are showing interest to being part of the show at some point too. So hopefully
Yeah.
We
2026.
need to get like Scott or Walt on this show. I have a feeling they'll have a fuck ton of fun on this show too.
Oh yeah, and who knows? They may know musicians that we could only dream of getting on
Yeah.
here.
Mhm.
So we shall see. But, anyways, thank you guys for watching episode 89. When we come back, it will be episode 90. And after that, we'll
Wow.
be 10 episodes away from 100 episodes. So,
Yay. Oh, real
Yay!
quick before we vacate the premises. I did run I'm on that shit like a fat kid on a cupcake through Google Translate because it
oh,
was so
Oh
good that I simply
no!
could not resist.
Not
And by the
again!
way, for anyone watching this that hasn't gone and watched our little game show of badly translated lyrics, you need to because it's fucking hilarious. At least to me. Like I just like tormenting these two. So,
It is the dumbest shit possible, and it's endearing.
so I'm on that shit like a fat kid on a cupcake becomes. I like the shape of the ball. It's a ball. How many shapes can it be? Have you ever come across a ball that was anything other than a sphere? I also did Bark Ingrams on that shit like a fat kid on a cupcake. Just for the fuck of it. It says
I think Mark Ingram's like a football player. That's why I got it confused for some
oh, I
stupid
thought you said
reason.
Bark Ingram, so I put Bark Ingram.
No, I said
Anyways,
Mark. I
Bark
meant to say
Ingram
Dave. Because
Bark
I'm
Ingram's
a
on that
smart
shit like a
filler.
fat kid on a cupcake becomes very open, children, and no ball.
anyways, I'm going to wrap this up before I lose more brain cells. We'll see you in 2026. Bye.
Bye.